Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I think we know everyone, but if you don't know us, we're the singing duo of Sheree and David, also known as Sheree and David Meyer. Tonight we have the honor of leading services, so it's good to see all of you out there. And our theme for this evening, based on the Parsha, is both sides now looking at blessings and curses. The Parsha is Balak. We'll be talking lots about it, but we're going to start off with words that actually appear in this week's Parsha, the blessing that Balaam actually says after being encouraged to curse us, and that's Ma Tovu, how fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling, O Israel. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ma Tovu, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ma Tovu. And with that, we're going to ask Suzanne Lander to come on up and bring in the lights of Shabbat. We're really grateful to her for having been our guest speaker last week. Please turn to page 120 in your Machzor, in your prayer book. With the blessing, we'll bring in with 3 circles when she gets ready to light. It's okay. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you. So we're doing a song next, Lichi Lach, which actually doesn't go with this Parsha, goes to another Parsha, but it is that invitation to Abraham to go out from where he had lived and to partner with God, and it speaks of the blessings involved. So we thought that would be a good one for this evening. Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a a blessing, Lechilah. Lechilah, and I shall make your name great. Lechilah, and all shall praise your name. Lechilah, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chaim, l'simchat chaim, l'simchat chaim, lechilah. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, Lechilah. And it is a blessing to be with all of you tonight. Next, we have a poem by Alicia Ostriker called The Blessing of the Old Woman, the Tulip, and the Dog.
To be blessed, said the old woman, is to live and work so hard, God's love washes right through you like milk through a cow. To be blessed, said the dark red tulip, is to knock their eyes out with the slug of lust implied by your upended skirt. To be blessed, said the dog, is to have a pinch of God inside you, and all the other dogs can smell it.
A little humor with that special blessing for everyone. Please now turn to pages 138 and 139 for Lecha Dodi. As you know, we do verses 1, 2, 5, and then we'll stand and greet the Sabbath bride and bride. We're going to have a pride bride.
Is it a prideful
bride? It's a prideful bride.
Okay, good.
And then verse 9. La 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 do dee, la 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 crackala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat, nikabela. Shamo v'zachor, v'dibur echad, Ishme'anu el ham-yuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem hu tiferet v'litidlah. La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 lekrakala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lekrat Shabbat, lechu ve'necha. Mekor habracha merosh mekedem en sucha sof maaseh v'machshavat tehillah. La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 lekrakala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nikavela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Yivarech Umiori, Uri, Shir Daveri, Kivod Adonai, Alayik Nigla. La 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 lekrat yodi, la 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 lekrat kala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Please rise. Ohi v'shalom, ateret bala. Gam b'simcha u'sola toch emuneh al segula olechala la 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 lekrat yodi, la 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 lekrat kala, la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lovely. And she is with us this evening. We'll now turn to page 144 for the Hatzi Kaddish, and then we'll go into the Baruch, and I'll ask you to stand for the Baruch. But please join me for chanting the Hatzi Kaddish. Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yaman Devrachirute, V'yamlich Malchute, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Ba'agala, uv'yizman kariv, V'yimaru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mavarech, Le'alam Alame Amaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitraman, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitale, V'yitala, Shemei Dekudesha, Berechu, Le'elam min kol birata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran bi'alma, V'yimaru, Amen. Please rise. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch So our next prayer is usually Ma'ariv Aravim, and yes, please be seated. But I happened to find, because you go and you look on YouTube to see just the right music for the service, and we've got some beautiful music, and we happened to discover a gentleman by the name of Avi Kaplan, or Avriel. Grew up in California, family of Russian Jews. And for a long time, he sang with the a cappella group Pentatonics, and he has this amazing bass baritone voice, neither of which are us. But this is his song for the thankful, and I think as we sing it, you'll get a sense of how it relates to that changing of seasons, to that changing from daylight to evening, and so on and so forth.
Goodbye, darkness, hello to the light. Every morning is an end to a night. Every season is bound to bring a change. There's a new chance given every day, and it brings it back to me. Yeah, it brings it back to me. Cool rain water and a breeze on my skin. Bless the new air as I breathe it all in. Take it from me like a stream into the sea. Close my eyes and thank the wind and the trees, 'cause they bring it back to me. Yeah, they bring it back to me. Goodbye, evening, hello to the night. I'm not seeing the wrong from the right. Walking blindly on a path without an end. Then the morning comes and leads me out again, and it brings it all back to me. Yeah, it brings it all back to me. Avi Kaplan's Song for the Thankful. We now turn to Ahavat Olam, page 150. And again, if you know it, please sing along so we're not doing it all by ourselves. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha
Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadita, Otanu limadita. Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu, Hukumeinu nasiha b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, Ki chem chayeinu. V'yorech yameinu, Uvahem negei omam v'layla, negei omam v'layla. V'ahavat ha'atasir, Mimeinu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. Please rise for the Shema on page 152. We cover our eyes. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. And we now turn to Micha Mocha. We're going to do the Recht.
Page 158.
Again, we think of the blessings, but also that the way in which we had felt cursed in Mitzrayim and Egypt, those places that are narrow and that trap us, but as we cross, we recognize the blessing that has been bestowed upon us, and we carry that into the journey.
It's going to be a little higher than you used to.
Okay. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nehedar B'Kodesh, Norat Hilot, Oseh Feleh, Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nehedar B'Kodesh, Norat Hilot, Oseh Feleh. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Moses and the children crossed the sea. They sang of you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nehedar B'Kodesh, Norat Hilot, Oseh So before we go to Hashkivenu, another one of my favorite songs on 160, I have another poem. This one is by Janet Einer. As many of you know, often when we do Hashkivenu, we ask you to grab a talit and to create your own tent under which your family stands. This poem is called Isaac's Blessing. When Isaac, a small freckled boy approaching 7, visits us for family camp, playing pirate with his rubber sword, sometimes he slumps in grief, trudging along, his sacrifice and small violin in hand, his palm over his chest, saying, "Mother is here in my heart." Before he leaves for home, we ask if he'd like a Jewish blessing. Our grandson's handsome face ignites. He chirps a rousing, "Yes, for a long life." We unfold the prayer shawl, its Hebrew letters silvering the spring light, hold the white tallis above his head, recite the blessing in its ancient language, and then the English, adding, "For a long life." Isaac complains. The tallis didn't touch his head, so he didn't feel the blessing. We lower its silken ceiling to graze his dark hair and repeat the prayer. Isaac's Blessing. Please join us for Hashkivenu.
Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Elohim, L'shalom, V'hamidenu Malkeinu, L'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukkot shalomecha, Ufros aleinu sukkot shalomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Thank you. We will now enter Tefillah, the standing prayer, and as such, if you are able, I will ask you to stand. We will do the Tefillah, and then the blessing, and then when we're finished with that, feel free to speak what is in your hearts, to ask for those blessings and to give those blessings that inspire you, and then I'll come back for Ritzeh. And if you remember the choreography, it's 3 steps back and 3 steps forward. Adonai sifataitiv ufia gita hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Livnei Bneihem L'man Shemo B'Ahava Melech Hozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai V'chayei metim atah Rav Loshia Mohorit hatal Michalkel chayim bechesed Michayei metim berachamim rabim Somek noflim v'rofei cholim Umatir asurim Umekayei emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha bagivorot Umidomelach Melech memit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nehemanata lechayot metim Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hametim Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom Yalucha selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu B'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam b'ahava tikabel U'tehili ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha Baruch atah Adonai She'otecha b'yira b'yira Navod Navod Navod. Please be seated, and we turn to Shalom Ra on page 178. Shalom Ra Tasim leolam Shalom Rahav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Ador Lechol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Ador Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rahav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha livorech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rahav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. So for Shavuot, I introduced some of us to poetry by Rick Lupert, who's a California poet. And he has a book of poetry called God Wrestler that actually has a poem for every parsha, which is lovely. That gives us somewhere to start. So I encourage the rest, and you can download it. It's not an expensive purchase. So this is from his fairly lengthy poem of Balach, and then I will share with you some of my feelings about the parsha. And 3 times upon encountering the Israelites, Balaam, glutton, foreigner, who was hired to say curses, to damage with words, can only say blessings. To hell with you becomes, how lovely are your tents. May the fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits, becomes your dwelling places, O Israel, extend like streams, like gardens by the river, like aloe which God planted, like cedars by the water. It's poetry. It's beautiful poetry. Do you like poetry? And now we say these words every morning, or just on Saturday mornings, or maybe you say different words, or maybe you just think them. May this forever be your way with words. If curses and hateful speech are ready to fall out of your mouth, let them turn to blessings. Now, while there are certainly superstitious Jews, indeed I love the fact that built into the Yiddish language is an avoidance of statements that might tempt the evil eye. So you might, in English, have heard things like from your grandparents, such as, a young woman isn't brilliant or beautiful, but she's not too dumb, and she's not too pretty, right? She's not too ugly. Those were the kind of understatements. But generally, Judaism is a religion, and our teachings are not built on magic or soothsayers or seers. Instead, our teachings emphasize free will and choice. The decisions and the outcome of those choices we make are at the foundation of our blessings or our curses. And often, like Balaam, who is called upon by Balak, believes that Balaam's words have the power to bring down the Israelites. But we must look at situations from a variety of vantage points before we can see the blessings rather than the curse. Each day, each journey is a series of choices and of blessings influenced by what we can see and what we cannot see or hear. As Rabbi Andrew Klein teaches, in order to find gratitude during challenging life situations, we have to look beyond ourselves and at the same time deep within ourselves. Doing that requires a tremendous amount of inner strength, which we can draw from the support of our community and God's loving kindness. In combination, our friends and our faith can enable us to transcend the challenge and find a blessing embedded within a curse, and perhaps even convert a curse into a blessing. He goes on, just as metal is molded and shaped by fire, so we are shaped and transformed by the fire in our lives. This realization enables us to see that curses and blessings are opposite ends of the same continuum, both part of the eternal cycle of life. Our fate lies in the choices we make. Each day, as I walk from the parking garage to my office, I try to pause. And if you've ever been at on Sac State's campus, we have a beautiful park-like setting. We have more trees than like anywhere else in Sacramento. So as I'm walking, I could curse the problems I'll face, the conflicts I'll try to mediate, the failures of those around me, or even more often my own failures. Or I can take those few minutes before I tackle all of that to bless the morning, the opportunities that I have to make a difference. But first and foremost, to just soak up the joy of being alive and well. Now, yesterday morning, as I drank my coffee and read the paper, this headline popped up. Anti-Semitic leaflets left at home in Fair Oaks. Now, in case you aren't aware, and this came as a surprise to me, every single aspect of gun control is Jewish. Who knew? Similarly, other leaflets hold us responsible for the COVID agenda and massive immigration. Now, such words in those leaflets are like the curses that Balak wanted Balaam to bring against our people. And while we shouldn't take these things and these incidents, we should take them seriously, despite the ridiculous nature of the claims, I would also suggest that as Jews, we have the choice to turn this so-called curse into a blessing. We can support gun control, take precautions to stem the spread of COVID, and work towards reasonable immigration policies. That would be a blessing. Now, well, as a people, we have historically been cursed by many. As Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, may he rest in peace, notes, it is well known that the Chinese ideogram for crisis also means opportunity. Any civilization that can see the blessing within the curse, the fragment of light within the heart of darkness, has within it the capacity to endure. Hebrew goes one better. The word for crisis, mashber, also means a childbirth chair. Written into the semantics of Jewish consciousness is the idea that the pain of hard times is a collective form of the contractions of a woman giving birth. Something new is being born. That is the mindset of a people of whom it can be said, the more they were oppressed, the more they increased, and the more they spread. He goes on, where did it come from, this Jewish ability to turn weakness into strength, adversity into advantage, darkness into light? It goes back to the moment in which our people received its name, Yisrael. It was then, as Jacob wrestled alone at night with an angel, that as dawn broke, his adversary begged him to let him go. I will not let you go until you bless me, said Jacob. And that is the source of our peculiar, distinctive obstinacy. Now, even at our darkest moments, when we are struggling to provide words of comfort, as we will towards the end of our service, to those who have lost a loved one, we say, may their memory be for a blessing. Now, it's not that we are cockeyed optimists wearing our own brand of rose-colored glasses. We recognize the struggle and the exhaustion that accompanies it. We recognize loss and immeasurable grief, and yet we greet the morning with a blessing. In the introduction to Marcia Prager's The Path of Blessing, she writes, the Jewish practice of blessing derives from our tradition's desire to promote joy and appreciation, wonder and thankfulness, amazement and praise. So I conclude, may the blessings from this week's portion and Shabbat sustain you and inspire you as you face the week's challenges. Shabbat Shalom. And with that spirit, we are actually going to turn our attention to those in need of healing with Misha Barach. Rick, I'll read the names I have, and then if there are any that are in the chat, you'll let us know. Hold on to that spirit of blessing. Maggie Verano, Penny Clark, Janice Schulman, Benden John and Juliana Blue, Joe Domagalski, Arlen Opper, Sandy Lewin, John Noxon, Faith Gobity, Laura Sender Lawrence, and Bill Grisolia. Are there any other in our sanctuary for who in need of blessing? Yes. Donnelly.
Tony Maynard, Maria Raptis, Stanley Carter, Gina. For all those who have no one to say Misha Berach before them.
And we say it together. We will sing. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Roy, can we welcome you up to do some announcements?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and to those on Zoom. So we continue to follow Sacramento County in requiring masks in any closed environment, and surgical masks are preferred and should be worn by everyone over age 2. We also are encouraging attendees in-person events to be vaccinated, boosted, and free of any COVID symptoms. Thank you to David and Sheree for leading tonight's service and for the accompanying music. And to Meryl Shader, Paul Seavey, and Susan and Hank Lander for sponsoring tonight's ONEG. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Zoom only, Sheree will continue her teachings and facilitate Torah study. And you can find the link on our webpage. If you're interested in singing with the choir, rehearsal is held every Wednesday at 6:30 here in person. Next week's Shabbat service will be led by Jeff and Ellie Swat, and that will be both in person and on Zoom, and then Torah study the following day, facilitated by Bill Roselle. Again, the link on our website. This is a new fiscal year, started July 1st. A generous donor is offered to match the first $125 for every congregant who gives a teruma or other donation to the synagogue in the month of July, over $250. An amazing opportunity. Thank you to our donor, and let's not miss that opportunity to help raise funds. Our biggest fundraiser of the year is Food Fair, and it's on Sunday, September 18th. That's the Sunday before Erev Rosh Hashanah. The ordering platform is already up and running, and I printed yesterday. We already have over $2,000 in orders, and products are going fast, so please order soon. And there's t-shirts this year as well, so you can remember the food fair even after the event, and we'll be listing our vendors and major donors on the back of the t-shirt and that great logo that Elliot put together on the front for our 45th food fair. In spite of the website already being up, there's still opportunities to bake and to help. Please go onto, what is it called? Sign Up Genius to volunteer for various activities. You can also pick up in the back of the sanctuary the cakes and various things which have the recipes on how to make it, and bring in cakes and pies as well, to help, which will then be sold at the food fair. All right. Tomorrow there's going to be a Manana baking contest at my house, and the Hucklebees are going to be joining me, and we're going to be making about 300 Mananas tomorrow, but that won't be the end of the Mananas. So if you're interested in doing that and you want to do that together with me, I've taken it up in Robin's memory. Please let me know, and there'll be more opportunities to bake Mananas with Roy. And then there's Blintzes with Bob. I think I also saw that on the website. So, and there's Challahs with Rabbi Nancy. So lots of opportunities to have joint communal events to help raise money. I think that's about it. There's, Welcome Back Barbecue. The rabbi comes back on Friday, August 19th. Services will be at 7 o'clock that day, but at 6 o'clock there'll be a picnic. You should RSVP online. And during that hour from 6 to 7, while we'll feed you, there's also opportunities. There'll be tables out with information about food fair, about this year's adult education program, about Neshama, about the Teruma program. So we'll have advertised a lot of the different things that CBS is involved with, so you can learn and participate and come back and greet one another, as well as a rabbi who's had a well-deserved respite over the summer from the bunch of us. So with that, Shabbat Shalom. All right.
Yeah, and I'd like to add my thanks to all of the lay leaders, both for leading Shabbat services and for leading, facilitating Torah study. Again, as Roy said, Rabbi deserves every moment of vacation over the summer, and on the other hand, we deserve to celebrate together and to worship. So we couldn't do it without all those folks who are willing to step up. And again, thank you for accompanying us today. That's really lovely. So we're appreciative. Let's turn to page 586 and through to 591 for Aleinu. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabech ladon hakol, latet gedula yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'gayai haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notesh shamayim v'yoser haaretz v'yishev yekaro b'shamayim mimahal u'shchinatu zo b'govei meromim hu Eloheinu ein od Emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu b'torato, v'yadot hayom, v'hashevota, elevavecha, ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim, b'shamayim mimal, v'aretz, mitachat enod, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Please be seated. We now turn to Mourner's Kaddish. We'll read the names first for those who have passed in the last 11 months, and then those for whom we are actually having their yahrzeit.
This one first.
I believe so. Go ahead.
Linda Clark, Bill Jenkins, Bob Unger, Carl Saperstein, Ami Lustig, Mark Kane, Jen Garcia, Ida Brody, Victor Gabriel, Ricky Joe Miller, Robin Ash, Karina Blue, Sarah Lipson, Jean Rubin, Daniel Yoshpe, Carol Trachtenberg, Alan Blickstein, Bill MacDonald, Judith Spivak, Bernard Elliott Esralu, Ethan Nava.
Are there any
Others? Are there any other recent deaths in our community that wish to be commemorated? Rick?
And for those whose yahrzeits fall, Solomon Abalafia, Anita Benenson, Stella Cohen, Fishel Cornfield, Carlin Cortland, Ruth Ann Edelstein, Leonard Victor Finder, Lester Forman, Louis Friedson, Anna Gross, Michael Grossman, Shar Jeffries, Estelle Klein, Daniel Korn, Ruth Lehman, Philip Newman, Abe J. Poska, Emma Ronquillo Nalangan, Carolyn M. Roth, Richard Schneeberger, Wilda Schwartz, Irving Smith, Jeffrey Steinke, Harry Stern, Elizabeth Vale, Arthur Wasserman, Jules Edward Weiner, Sylvia Ziporsky. Are there any other Yortsites? Yes. We also remember all those we have lost in the recent years to COVID, to shootings, to the war in the Ukraine, and of course, always our 6 million. Zichronom livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and we all rise as one community, and we say, Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yerute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yesh me Rabbah mivarach le'alam alamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudasha birachu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Ose shalom b'mramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. So, while we were in Maine, visiting with our beautiful family, a young woman brought over a book that we hadn't seen before, that had originally been created by Joni Mitchell as a gift for her friends. Those of you who know Joni Mitchell might remember that she actually is also an artist and did many of the album covers for her albums. So this was a book of her lyrics and her paintings. So when we thought about what to do as a closing song for tonight, we thought we needed to nod to Joni. Many of you might have known this song not from Joni, but Judy Collins. And if you get a chance, Judy Collins is actually playing at the Crest Theater in September. So there's a plug for some of us old folkies. Again, in keeping with the idea of blessings and cursings, and as Balaam looked at the Jews from a variety of perspectives, this is Joni Mitchell's Both Sides Now. Rose hand flows and angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all.
Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let it show. give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. But now all the friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. But something's lost and something's gained in living every day. I looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all.
So before we go out and do the blessing over the challah and the wine, I'm going to embarrass my husband. So what else is new? There you go. We have the blessing of celebrating.
Oh, goodness.
See, I told you I was going to embarrass him. Of celebrating the 50th, I said the word, 50th anniversary of our first date this Sunday, July 17th. And every day, he is a blessing.
Oh, stop.
Stop. So on that note, let's go break some bread and have some wine together. Please join us.
Had to do it, didn't you?
I did.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Shabbat Shalom, Harriet. Shabbat Shalom, Nick. Shabbat Shalom, Bob and Holly. Shabbat Shalom, Suzanne. Shabbat Shalom, Gina and Kathy. Shabbat Shalom, and
Nick, what's your mom's name again?
Sharon.
oh, Sharon. Shabbat Shalom, Sharon. Sorry.
Shabbat Shalom, Rick. You did a good job with technical. Everybody's
Bob and Holly. Hi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Refuah Shlema, Bob.
Thank you.
You doing okay, Bob?
Yep, got the leg all up and then taking care of it and healing up.
Okay. Wish you speedy healing. Speedy recovery.
I'll see you tomorrow at Torah study online.
What happened to your leg, Bob?
I had a total knee replacement on Monday.
Wow.
So they made a sleep, opened it up, and all the new parts and closed it up. Able to bicycle and everything again pretty soon. Pretty amazing how fast it can go.
You're becoming the $6 million man.
That's right, becoming bionic.
Wonderful.
Shabbat Shalom, Sharon.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
You were just jealous because I was already the bionic woman.
Yeah.
There you go, Holly. Set the pace.
You're the bionic woman, Holly? Okay.
She,
She's the bionic woman
Oh.
already. Good.
they're gonna
So Shabbat Shalom and Steink. Is that how you say your last name?
Stanky.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom, Suzanne. They're going to say the blessing.
Wonderful to have Anne-Marie here.
I was thinking. Should I?
Shabbat shalom. See some of you tomorrow.
Shabbat Shalom, Nick. Take care.
Thanks, you too. Harriet.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Heidi.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Heidi. Thank you
Bye,
for
Sharon.
saying, Heidi, thank you for your always Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I so appreciate that.
Welcome. I enjoy it.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Heidi, are you going to be ordering items from the food fair? Have them shipped up to you?
What I did last year is I had them ordered and my friend got them. I got them for my friend.
So then they were able to pick it up for you?
Yeah, no, not for me, for themselves. I gave it as a gift.
That's nice.
I might do that again, but I'm not in that great financial straits right now.
Okay. Well, it's still the thought that counts. Can I ask you a question, Heidi?
Mm-hmm.
So a while ago, I saw for the for somebody passing had the same last name, Mathit. Was that
That's
your
my
dad?
father-in-law.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not my dad.
Well, your dad by marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage to your husband. How's your daughter doing?
Good.
Good. Is she still down here in California?
Yeah, she's in San Francisco.
Oh, good. Good. Time just keeps passing on, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's about to be 32.
Wow. What kind of career did she start? Oh, Rick's giving us the sign. Talk to you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a great week.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.